Market update here on the 18th. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday. I've been pretty busy and tired and really didn't feel like I was putting out anything good, so I didn't make a video. So, SPY, nice sell off today. And look what's happening here. I think I mentioned this in the last video as a possibility. This being a B wave and then this being a C wave. It looks to me like we're finishing off a C wave here. And I actually followed this down to the 1 minute time frame. And you can see it. I did mention before that this looked like it wasn't a impulse move, but that was on like the 1 minute time frame. I think that this is a 5-wave move. So we have, let's just use parallel lines and just see. So it basically, it breaks outside of it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're here. So we're in the 5th wave down. And then within the 5th wave, we're in a 4th wave. So we're going to have some more downside tomorrow. And you can look at futures and you can see that. But we're at 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get a 5th wave down. I'm not sure. It might break below this demand zone here. And yeah, I didn't really trade this that much, to be honest. Like, I traded a little bit right here. And then at that point, it wasn't obvious that this was a 5-wave move yet. This looked pretty choppy. And then we hit this zone right here, and I bought some calls. Didn't really do very well on them. This move right here was pretty. On the 1 minute time frame, it went up $3 in 10 minutes. If you didn't catch the bottom, you weren't going to get in. Then this move came straight back down. I actually bought my calls somewhere in here on the retrace, thinking this might be an ABC move higher, and I got out basically a little bit more than break even, like basically around break even, and then this move happened, and at that point I was just getting my portfolio ready for Tesla earnings, which I'll go over here in a second. So again, wave 4, we should have another move down. And as far as targets go, I wouldn't think that it would go past the 424.95 is probably unlikely, but it's possible. That would be the farthest it can go. And we'll see if it holds this demand zone that ends at 428.36. That is the very bottom of a 2-hour demand zone. So 428.36, can it hold that area, or is it going to keep on going down? Either way, I think the 5th wave is happening, and then that will be the end of the C wave. So if that's the end of the C wave, then we're going to go higher after that. So we're going to be looking at this like, so let's say we go to 428. I'd probably be looking for something around potentially 448, but maybe like mid 440s. I think the gap fill will happen sometime in November, maybe late October, but I think that that earnings are going to be a positive catalyst for the market. And I was thinking that before too, because if this was the A wave and we're in the current B wave right here, this took about 2 months exactly. So 2 months from here is November sometime. So this could last, well, I don't know if it's going to last that long though. This took about, this is going to take about 10 days. This took about 13 days or 12 days. So we're probably looking at something actually in early November, maybe mid-November they could stretch it out to. and then we should see the final move down. So yeah, I think this is a C wave. It's finishing up. We got a fifth wave down, and we're going to be finished with this correction. All right, QQQ is probably the same thing. I haven't been watching QQQ as much as I was because I've been trading SPY more. But it's probably the exact same thing. Yeah, this just looks like a ABC move. Right here is where I'm kind of looking for 360.47. So we might see another 1% down tomorrow with Tesla earnings being bad. The farthest I see this going is 357.70. And are there any good demand zones to look at? Potentially right here. But I don't see anything really that good as far as demand zones go. So yeah, look for a maximum of 357.70, probably something around 360. But I think this is about finished, and it's going to be the same structure as SPY, something like this. So that's what I think is going to happen. A, B, and then we'll get the final move down later. And who knows, if it comes all the way up here, then we might just get a normal flat. So maybe 332 is not going to happen. So that is QQQ. Let's go over Tesla. So Tesla, I was following this on the 1 minute time frame because I owned shares in Tesla, and I wanted to make sure that I had my portfolio hedged exactly as I wanted to. And so going down to the very end, last 2 minutes of the day, I had it pretty much hedged down to delta neutral. Sorry for that noise. They're drilling outside and some cars driving by. But I had it hedged down to the very end. And what happened here is originally I had said this might be the end right here of the fifth wave. We got this move down, and I said that was probably, no, this is probably the fifth wave, I'm sorry. And then we got this move up. That could have been the first wave higher. But then, of course, today we came down here and broke the low, and that's when I was like, all right, this is probably going to end up being an impulse move, and this is the fifth wave. And so, sure enough, this ended up being the third wave. This is the fourth wave. And then I went down to the 1 minute, and I was following this the whole way to the end of the day, and I knew that it was going to be bad earnings based on the chart. And that's the crazy part, is you can use a chart to figure that out. So we have 1, 2, and then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bounce for the fourth wave, and then right here is where we ended. This was a first wave, second wave, and we're in the middle of a third wave because we hadn't got outside the parallel line. And so where we finished at, there's only two possibilities from here. The first possibility would have been A, B, C, because an impulse move cannot start from here. So that was the first possibility that I was potentially looking for, but I wasn't gonna unhedge my position because that would still be bearish. We'd still come down after that. But we finished right here in the middle of a third wave. So I just left all my hedges on, pretty much delta neutral, and Tesla had horrible earnings, and they had like a Cybertruck delay or something. I don't know exactly what it was. I was tired at that point, but I just knew it was going to come down, and sure enough, horrible earnings, and we're down. We were down at 232. I think it finished at. So this is probably going to be, and look where it went to. Also, this is going to be the fifth wave here, and then I'm going to see that might be the end of it. If they can, if this is actually the third wave right here, this can be the third wave. Or this is going to be the fifth wave of the third wave. It will all depend on the bounce after this. But if it opens up here below 235, then we know that it's in a demand zone, but we know that this is a C wave down. Could be a third wave too, though. Got to be careful with it. It could be a third wave. If it's a C wave, I'm just looking for $224 with a maximum of $207, and there is a gap fill at 216, so gotta watch out. I'm gonna stay hedged to the very end. So yeah, it's not the best setup, or not the best thing. I don't really like hedging, but sometimes you have to do it, and I didn't get a chance to sell my shares, so that's what happened. So maybe this will end up being a third wave down to 207, bounce, and even go lower than that. Originally, about a month ago, I had talked about 186. So that's still a possibility. But based on what I see in the overall market, I think this is probably going to end up being a C wave. So we're going to have this move and then ABC lower and then probably go higher. We'll probably end up doing something like this. Maybe down to 216, maybe just down to here to 220. And then maybe come up here to 290. And at that point, that's probably going to be a ABC move, a really long drawn out ABC move. And then maybe come back down here again. So very choppy on the long-term time frame for Tesla over the last 3-4 months, just like the market. But really, short term is all that matters. Just know that we are in the either third wave of the overall fifth wave down, or we're in the fifth wave of the fifth wave down. However you want to look at it, we're going right into a demand zone, and so you just got to follow on the 1 minute time frame from here. Look for 224 minimum, and potentially down here to this gap fill at 216, maximum probably 207. So Microsoft is, so I changed this a little bit. I had the third wave over here, and I thought this was the start of a fifth wave. This is actually the third wave right here, and we're finishing up a fourth wave right here. So if this comes down here to the very bottom, maybe 327, 326 tomorrow, then I would be looking for that fifth wave to happen after that, and fill that gap at 338, potentially higher. There is a gap up here that I noticed at 350 as well, so it could go this high. So we'll see. If it goes to 350, then I would only be looking for a correction back down to like 300, maybe 295. So we'll see on that. Apple has came a little bit farther down than I like, but still has not crossed into the first wave. Still looking for a fifth wave higher up here sometime soon. So similar to Microsoft. NVDA. So NVIDIA, I was falling pretty hard for a while, but I was actually thinking about a bounce play on this, but I didn't think it was worth it. This might be, I think this is wave 3 right here. You can tell because it's a huge move down. And then we bounce up here, and I think that we are finishing off wave 5 here. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, and then yeah, it has a little bit more to go, but it's holding this demand zone really well. I got this demand zone from right here. It's held it so far. It did come down a little bit past it on this move right here. So far holding it. We'll see if it holds 416 tomorrow. It could be a pretty quick dip tomorrow in the morning and then recovery. So watch out for that. I think that NVDA probably in a wave 1. It's got to be a wave 1. So if this is wave 1, this might be going down to could be going down to 365, which is the 1.61 fib. No, 352. Potentially 352. We'll see, but that looks like a wave 1 to me. I don't think that's the completion of this move. I think we're probably just going to get a wave 2 here soon. If we come down here to 416, you're probably looking at something back up here to the gap fill at 455. So it will be a good bounce play here in the next couple of days. Amazon right into demand here. Very similar chart to QQQ. So I would look for a max of maybe 125, but probably not. Without going too much into this wave right here, it doesn't really matter to me that much. It's pretty much bottomed out, maybe a little bit lower. You're looking at something like this. So this gap fill is probably going to happen here soon, up here to like 135 to 138. Meta. So Meta making a wave 2, potentially. Meta has lots of corrective waves. Notice that. Like even the impulse moves are like way too many corrective moves. Let's see where this is at. I think this might be getting ready to come up here to 336. So we made it. This might be a wave 1 right here. Let's see. If this holds 312, then I would look for, yeah, something like that. A move up here to 331, potentially 337, 336. And then that would complete the overall B wave. That is the 1.61 fib of this right here. And then down after that, potentially all the way down here. So I don't know, on QQQ, you can still go down here to 332 eventually. It's just, if we come up here to 376 or 382, we're basically at the very top of the highs of this year. And so I would expect more of a flat. But if we only go to 376, then we can still come down here to 332. Right now, based on what I see on all these charts, I would say I'd pretty much I would more lean towards a flat, but we'll see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We can go over the dollar or the VIX, but really just expect a little bit more downside over the next day or two, maybe going into the end of the week, and then after that we should be going up for the next like month or so, because this move took, again, like 13 days, and this is going to take 10 days. You're looking at least 10, 15 days of upside after this. And that takes us through tech earnings. So I would expect potentially tech earnings being good. Maybe NVIDIA will stay down into their earnings and then they will pop. I'm not sure if they have the earnings around the same time as Apple and Microsoft. But again, just look for more upside after this on QQQ and SPY. And yeah, everyone's bearish right now. This is a good time to look for a long position and play the bounce that's coming up. So that's pretty much it. Leave it at that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe if you're not already. And I'll catch you in the next video. I think I might do some growth stock videos, SoFi video, potentially PLTR. We'll see. All right, have a good night. Talk to you tomorrow.